Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive into the NFL. This time we're tackling the crazy roller coaster that was Week 12. Buckle up, because we're diving into a CBS Sports article highlighting the biggest winners and losers. And let me tell you, it's a wild ride. We're going to hit on a ton of teams like the Panthers, Chiefs, Texans, Titans, Bucks, Giants, Bears, Vikings, Cowboys, Commanders, 49ers, Packers, Seahawks, Cardinals. Ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Let's jump right into the action, starting with the NFC South. Can we talk about Bryce Young and the Panthers almost taking down the Chiefs? What impressed me most was Young's poise under pressure against that ferocious Chiefs defense.
Yeah, it's amazing how he was just picking apart the Chiefs' blitz packages. Like, he had this sixth sense for where the pressure was coming from. You see flashes of brilliance from rookie quarterbacks, but this pre-snap awareness is something special. Young wasn't just surviving out there, he was thriving.
It was definitely a statement game for Young, even in a loss.
Yeah.
And speaking of statements, how about Baker Mayfield leading the Buccaneers to a win? And he did it with all those injuries plaguing the team. I mean, did you see him out there throwing blocks for his running back? Talk about dedication.
Oh, yeah. Mayfield's always had that never-give-up attitude. But I'm not quite ready to crown the Buccaneers contenders just yet. I mean, their offensive line is still a bit of a mess, and their defense has been up and down all season.
So you're saying Mayfield might need a little more help to get them into the playoffs?
He's going to need some serious support to make a real playoff push, especially in a division as tough as the NFC South.
All right, makes sense. Let's shift gears to some teams battling for those playoff spots. The Texans took a hit with that loss against the Titans. C.J. Stroud had some good moments, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, that loss really showed some cracks in the Texans' armor. Stroud, he's got the potential to be a real franchise quarterback, but he's got to work on his consistency.
What do you mean by consistency?
Well, you see him string together a few great plays, then bam, he makes a rookie mistake. He needs to find a rhythm and stick with it. And the Texans' defense, they got to step up too. They can't just rely on Stroud's arm to win every game.
Good point. Now, on the flip side, we had the Cowboys pulling off a surprise win against the Commanders, and Cooper Rush was the man of the hour with a really efficient game.
That was a big win for the Cowboys, especially with all the drama surrounding Dak Prescott. Rush showed he can manage the game effectively and, most importantly, win. It definitely raises some interesting questions about their quarterback situation moving forward.
Yeah, is there a quarterback controversy brewing in Dallas? We'll have to wait and see. All right, let's turn our attention to some NFC heavyweights that had a bit of a stumble this week. The 49ers are now below .50 after another loss. They just haven't looked the same without Brock Purdy.
Yeah, their usually dominant defense looked shaky against the Packers, giving up way too many big plays, and their pass rush was practically non-existent. It's pretty clear they miss Purdy's ability to keep plays alive and create scoring opportunities. The pressure is on for them to figure things out quickly.
It's like their whole identity has been shaken.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Seahawks defense is looking like a force to be reckoned with. They completely shut down the Cardinals. Do you see that pick six? Talk about a momentum swing.
What's impressive about the Seahawks is their defensive coordinator, Mike McDonald. He's got this unit running like a well-oiled machine, aggressive, disciplined, and playing with a swagger that's intimidating any offense they face.
They are definitely a team nobody wants to play right now. Before we move on, let's talk about one more surprise. The Bears, with Caleb Williams leading the charge, almost pulled off a huge upset against the Vikings.
The Bears are way ahead of schedule in their rebuild, and Williams is exceeding all expectations. He's showing composure and playmaking ability well beyond his years. I'm especially impressed with how he reads defenses and makes adjustments at the line of scrimmage.
So you think the Bears could be contenders sooner than we thought?
They're not quite there yet. But if Williams keeps developing at this rate and they build a solid team around him, they could be a serious force in a couple of years.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground, but we're just getting warmed up.
Man, Week 12 was packed with action, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And some individual performances really stole the show. Let's go back to Bryce Young for a minute. His composure against the Chiefs was unbelievable. Like, he wasn't even fazed by that pass rush.
Yeah, his pocket presence is already elite. He's not just running around trying to avoid sacks. He's using his mobility to buy time and find open receivers. It's almost like watching a young Russell Wilson move around back there.
Wow, now that's high praise. Okay, let's flip the script and talk about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
His performance for the Buccaneers was pure grit and determination. Throwing blocks and all, the guy's a warrior.
Oh, yeah. Mayfield's always been a fighter. Never backs down from a challenge. But you gotta wonder about the Buccaneers' play calling. Some of those decisions were a little questionable. They need to figure out how to use Mayfield's strengths and protect his weaknesses if they want to make a real run in the playoffs.
So you're saying coaching could be a big factor for the Buccaneers?
Absolutely. Now let's talk about C.J. Stroud. And the Texans, Stroud showed flashes of brilliance, but the consistency just wasn't there.
What do you think is holding him back?
It's probably a few things. He's still getting used to the speed and complexity of the NFL, plus the Texans' offensive line isn't doing him any favors. They need to give him more time to make reads and develop a better connection with his receivers.
So it's a work in progress,
Yeah,
but the potential is definitely there.
no doubt. Okay, let's talk about Cooper Rush for a second. His performance for the Cowboys was a clinic in efficiency.
He didn't make any crazy highlight reel plays,
Yeah.
but he made the right decisions and kept the offense moving.
Exactly. He managed the game like a veteran. It'll be interesting to see what the Cowboys do with their quarterback situation when Dak Prescott comes back.
Could we see a quarterback controversy brewing in Dallas?
We'll have to see how things play out.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of quarterback situations, the 49ers are really feeling the loss of Brock Purdy. Their offense has been sputtering, and their defense hasn't been able to pick up the slack.
Yeah, they've looked lost on offense, and their defense just hasn't been the same without Purdy.
And it's not just about missing Purdy. Their pass rush, which was dominant last season, has been almost invisible this year. They're not getting to the quarterback, and their secondary is paying the price.
So it's a combination of things that have led to their struggles.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm of bad luck and poor execution. But on a brighter note, let's talk about the Seahawks defense. These guys are playing lights out.
Mike McDonald deserves a ton of credit for turning that defense around.
Absolutely. He's got those players believing in themselves and playing with a level of intensity we haven't seen from them in years. They're flying around, making plays, creating turnovers, and making life miserable for opposing quarterbacks.
What a difference a year makes. Okay, before we wrap things up, let's talk about the Bears for a minute. They almost pulled off a huge upset against the Vikings, and Caleb Williams was the driving force behind that near win.
Caleb Williams is the real deal. He's got the arm talent, the athleticism, and the football IQ to be a superstar. The way he extends plays and makes throws on the run is special. He's a game changer.
He makes it look so easy.
And he makes it look fun, which is important. He's got that infectious energy that can really rally his teammates and the fans.
So we've seen veteran quarterbacks step up, rookie quarterbacks exceeding expectations. It's been a wild ride.
Week 12 was a showcase of quarterback talent, from the old guard to the new generation. It's a great time to be an NFL fan. It makes you wonder which of these quarterbacks will leave their mark on the league. It really is. The question on everyone's mind: which quarterbacks will be the faces of the league in the years to come? It's awesome to see so many young stars making a name for themselves.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be an NFL fan. But Week 12 wasn't just about the quarterbacks. We saw some amazing plays from players at every position.
You got that right. This league is full of incredible athletes who give it their all week in and week out.
And they inspire us with their talent and their heart and how they bounce back from adversity.
Yeah, it's about so much more than just wins and losses. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible and striving for greatness.
Exactly. And that's what makes the NFL so compelling. We're not just watching a game. We're watching players reach for their full potential.
And we're witnessing the future of the league unfold right in front of our eyes.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Week 12, I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay, I'm listening.
What will you take away from these amazing performances? What inspires you? And how can you apply that inspiration to your own life?
Great questions. And I'd like to add one more. How will you pursue your own version of greatness?
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep that passion for the game alive.